Virginia Republican Bill Cline introduced a bill into the state House of Delegates in Virginia on the issue of abortion, and it is mental. So he said, whereas on January 22nd, 1973, the majority of the members of the Supreme Court ruled that abortion was a right secured by the Constitution, and whereas since that fateful day, over 58 million unborn children have perished, now, therefore, be it resolved that January 22nd shall be called the Day of Tears in Virginia, and that the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia are encouraged to lower their flags to half-staff to mourn the innocents who have lost their lives to abortion. Where do I begin with this jack-off? Okay. He says 58 million unborn children have perished. Over 90% of abortions in the U.S. happen before 13 weeks. You know what that means? They are most definitely not children. Now, they can get all butthurt over that and get all politically correct and go, oh, but they're kids. Okay, but that's not true. Scientifically, that's not true. Medically, that's not true. You're talking about something that is before there's even a nervous system developed in it. So their argument is like, oh, we're such bad people, inflicting all this pain on these little kids. No, there is literally no pain. There can't be pain. There's not even a development of the nervous system in the fetus. So when we talk about what's happening in many of these instances, he's counting like people taking the abortion pill as that's an abortion. So right, like the morning after pill. Oh, look, I took a morning after pill because we had an accident last night. That guy's like, a dead baby, dead person. That person had Second Amendment rights, goddammit. That's how they look at it. That's seriously how they look at it. So if you're talking about a fucking gamete or a zygote, or as Bill Maher says in one of his stand-up pieces, a fucking pile of goo, they count that as a child in their calculation. So I guess that's a child. That's a child. Because the soul enters the second you're done having sex. But that is an unscientific, ridiculous belief. So 90% of abortions in the U.S. happen before 13 weeks. Ready for this? 98%, over 98% actually, according to Guttmacher Institute, which tracks stuff like this, happen before 20 weeks. You know when the nervous system is developed? Around viability. You know when viability is? Around 22 weeks or 23 weeks. So over 98% of abortions in the U.S. have no pain associated with it whatsoever. And furthermore, the ones that do happen after that line, it's in the rare instances of if the life of the mother is in danger, so you have to pick. The mother or the fetus. You have to pick. And to these guys, it's like they think, oh, the fetus. So, or there's a fatal fetal defect and the fetus isn't going to make it anyway. Or if there's a rape. Or if there's incest. So this is like we've crafted a very moderate abortion policy in the U.S. where there are lines where we say this is reasonable, this is not reasonable. You're only allowed to do it for this reason and this reason after this certain line. These guys, all that's gone in their mind, and I've heard them make this argument for. It's a genocide. It's a Holocaust. If you stop a fucking zygote or gametes from becoming a person, that is a person actually. It is a person. And you're committing murder. That's what it is. So your 58 million number is complete and utter bullshit, and it's bogus. And then also, so you're talking about a day of tears for all the little babies that have died. Day of tears. So that's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Day of Tears. And I don't know, maybe 9/11 didn't pop in your mind. No, forget that. Don't worry about that. There's abortion happening. Let's focus on that. I'm so sad over it because I'm so pro-life. Why wasn't 9/11 your Day of Tears? Why isn't Pearl Harbor your Day of Tears? Why isn't, I don't know, how about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki when we know we wiped out hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians? That doesn't strike you as maybe that should be our Day of Tears. How about the Day of Tears being the day we invaded Iraq, because we know that we invaded a country that did not attack us. We waged an offensive war. Hundreds of thousands of civilians died as a result of it. We occupied that country, and we set up a worldwide torture regime. How about that? How about Day of Tears for Vietnam? How we killed over 1 million civilians in Vietnam. Nope, none of that matters. Those are actual human beings who are being slaughtered, innocent civilians who are being slaughtered, they don't count. If they're a fucking zygote or a gamete, then I might care about them. You guys are idiots. Do you understand that? You're fucking idiots. You're brainwashed idiots. And furthermore, a lot of this stuff is based on fundamentalist Christianity. And fundamentalist Christianity, if you read the fucking Bible, it's not even anti-abortion. There's a part in the Bible where they prescribe it. They say if your wife cheats on you, you got to give her what's called bitter water. Bitter water is basically poisonous water that induces a miscarriage. Also known as what? An abortion. So drink it, and if you abort, well, then look, understand that was the baby of the guy your wife cheated on you with. So it's all good now. So they're prescribing it if your wife cheats on you. And they say if nothing happens, then that's your baby and it's all good. They prescribe abortion in the Bible, you fucking ignorant pricks. And furthermore, again, you want to say you're so pro-life, so pro-life, so pro-life. They all support the death penalty. And they all supported the war in Iraq. So spare me your garbage. You're an ideologue and you're an unintelligent loser.